Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins is sort of a martial arts version of James Bond, so who better to helm the film than Guy Hamilton, the former director of two of my personal favorite Bond movies, Goldfinger and Live and Let Die. Based on the popular best-selling Destroyer novel series, Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins is an underrated and often forgotten about 1985 film. Unfortunately, the film never realized its full potential, with an overly ambitious subtitle boasting "The Adventure Begins" implies a sequel which obviously never came to fruition, due to its modest box office take and its mixed critical response. However, the somewhat obscure film does have its fans, and despite its failure to launch a franchise, it's still a fun nostalgia piece that I for one enjoy revisiting from time to time. Mad About Superheroes presents Retro Movie Review, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Sam Macon, a tough Brooklyn, New York City street cop and Vietnam-era Marine Corps veteran, is unwillingly recruited as an assassin for a secret U.S. organization codenamed Cure. Sam's face is surgically altered and given a new name, Remo Williams. He's trained to be a superhuman assassin by a wise but arrogant Korean martial arts master named Kyung. Though Remo's training is extremely rushed by Kyung's standards, Remo learns such skills as dodging bullets, running on water, or wet cement. Remo's training is interrupted when he is sent by Cure to investigate a corrupt weapons procurement program within the U.S. Army. Fred Ward as Remo is a big part of what makes the film work. He's just as likable and charismatic as he is in a later, more well-known film, Tremors, where he played Earl Bassett alongside Kevin Bacon. Joel Grey does a serviceable job as Kyung. Though his performance and interplay with Ward is fun at times, unfortunately the biggest glaring discredit to Grey's performance is that he's an American actor covered in makeup in order to make him look Korean, and imitates a Korean accent. Alas, such is a faux pas of the era, and one sour note only spoils the fun if you let it. Though given very little to do, the lovely Kate Mulgrew is a most welcome addition to the cast as Major Fleming. Some may recognize her from her starring role in a little-known television series called Star Trek Voyager. Wilford Brimley, who starred in the cult classic The Thing, another personal favorite, also has a role as the head of Cure, Harold Smith. J.A. Preston, widely known for his role as Ozzie Cleveland on the NBC primetime drama Hill Street Blues, makes an appearance as Smith's right-hand man, Con McCleary. Though Remo Williams has many thoroughly entertaining action set pieces, its most exciting is set atop the Statue of Liberty, an impressively shot fight sequence that conveys a real sense of danger, especially for anyone with a fear of heights. A replica of the statue's torso, head, and arm was built, and shots of the replica were intercut with footage shot at the real Statue of Liberty. Remo Williams never got a sequel, but a television pilot was produced that was never picked up the series. New actors were cast in the lead roles, and the elaborate stunts and violence in comparison to the film version are significantly toned down, no doubt to comply with network television standards and budgetary concerns. A current Hollywood trend is to remake or reboot pre-existing successful franchises in an attempt to cash in on an established brand name. For the most part, these remakes don't have the best track record, and there's usually a huge fan base that's opposed to the concept. So why not try to reboot an existing property that's had moderate success, one that has room for improvement, and expand upon it? A property that if remade isn't going to upset fans like a reboot of The Crow or Highlander would. Personally, I'm all for rebooting the more obscure films that had potential but wasn't fully realized. Why not give Remo Williams another shot? Only skip the subtitle, The Adventure Begins, because that didn't work out too well the first time.
Who are you? Remo Williams.
Taking center stage in Remo Williams is the action, stunts, and training of the title character, which are all executed very well. But a hero is only as good as his villain, and this story is sadly lacking in that department. Though we're introduced to a Bond-esque henchman fit with a diamond tooth, he's never on screen for too long, and he's quickly dispatched by our hero. However, akin to other films of the era such as Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon and Big Trouble in Little China, Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins effectively exaggerates the elements of fantasy to the already heightened action-adventure genre. If you haven't seen or heard of Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins, I highly recommend checking it out.
Now, based on the Destroyer novel series that sold over 30 million copies, America's favorite tough guy comes to the screen in a movie big enough to hold him. Remo Williams. The adventure begins.
Thanks for letting your geek flag fly with Mad About Superheroes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.